morning.
Good morning.
I should have checked that before. Well, now I've gone too far. Hi.
Hello.
It's always a little bit of a mystery. I think we should jump right into it because this is a really interesting
Go for it.
topic. So we're talking about the book 90 Seconds to a Life You Love by Joan I. Rosenberg. And I wanted to pull it up. Let me actually put the link to her site up for you so you can see that. I wanted to read a little bit of it and then we're going to discuss it because I think it very clearly fits into addiction, alcoholism, struggles with all of that, but it also, I think, just fits into being alive, which, so much of what we talk about does. So she says, maybe you feel like you don't belong or fit in. Perhaps you feel different, closed off from relationships, or anxious about the goals and dreams you think you'll never reach. You look at others who seem to radiate confidence and wonder why you can't have that too. You don't have to be stuck. There is a way to build and maintain lasting confidence, and it starts with the intention to change. With consistent focus, you can experience rapid progress as you transform your life into one you love. As counterintuitive as it may sound, the key to cultivating confidence and creating a life you love lies in the ability to handle unpleasant emotions. Confidence develops when you have the deep sense that you can handle the emotional outcomes of whatever you pursue. If you can experience and move through 8 unpleasant feelings, you can pursue anything you want in your life. How do you move through those feelings? By following one simple formula. 1 choice, 8 feelings, 90 seconds. So then she's kind of got this 3-part thing. So the first is to make a choice to be present. Stay right here. Don't wander off into past or future. When you make this choice, you open yourself up to encountering your whole range of feelings from pleasant to unpleasant. Second, since unpleasant feelings are generally harder to face, you acknowledge your willingness to deal with or tolerate the following 8 common unpleasant feelings: sadness, shame, helplessness, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, frustration, and vulnerability. And then the third point is you bear or move through some or all of these unpleasant feelings by riding 1 or more 90-second waves of body sensations. Physical sensations such as warm cheeks, a pounding heart, a pit in the stomach, are how the body communicates our feelings to us. Riding out the physical sensations and the emotions they represent is an essential part of this work. And then she says, when you're able to effectively handle unpleasant emotions, you're likely to feel more centered, confident, capable, and calm. Your consistent ability to deal with difficult feelings translates into relief from anxiety, harsh self-criticism, and negative self-talk. What would that be like? As you continue the practice of experiencing these unpleasant feelings, you increase your capacity to engage in courageous conversations, which often results in mending and deepening relationships. If you stay well connected to your moment-to-moment experience, not only will you move your life more fully into who you want to be and do more of what you love, you'll start to develop a greater sense of purpose and meaning in your life. All right, that was a lot of reading. Sorry. Dr. Mary, how do you relate this to your journey out of alcoholism?
Read those 9 bullet points again, and I'll explain that bit to you.
Can do, will do, done. Sadness, shame, helplessness, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, frustration, and vulnerability.
All of those went through my head the first time I woke up from my coma and had a sober, coherent thought.
Okay.
You suddenly... Here's the point. Someone once asked me recently, why is it always 28 days? And I think we've talked about this, and maybe this was a while ago.
Who cares? This is our 351st episode, so there's likely to be some overlap.
Why rehab's 28 days. You need a week to get the substance you're addicted to out of your system. And then you need a week to be able, on average, to have a clear thought in your head. The next 2 weeks are being given tools of how to deal with your addiction if you choose to or not. But all of that has to be dealt with. People do feel shame. A lot of people feel so shamed about it, they can't deal with it. So they go back to hiding in their disease because that's the easiest route out. You do feel ashamed. You do feel vulnerable. You feel scared. I
Disappointed.
was disappointed. I was disappointed in myself and what I'd done to me and what I did to you and our family. I was scared for everything. And it's overwhelming, and it's worse. I think it's only getting worse, and it's getting worse, I think, because we're in a bit of a recession blip. I'm going to be optimistic about that. In some parts of the world, is going backwards.
Would that be the part we live in, Dr. Mary?
There's uncertainty, there's unrest. We're on the tail end of a pandemic. This is everyone's first pandemic.
The tail end of this,
unless you're 107.
Yeah.
No one knew how to deal with it. One of the biggest challenges in my job is dealing with students who are actually dealing with mental stress, and it's on a level that no one's ever dealt with before, because I don't think anyone's really dealt with the fact, especially in this country, of something that's 5,000 times smaller than a red blood cell that could actually kill you. And it's been in the news for 2.5 years.
Yeah. So can I talk? I think that the really interesting thing about this book, I mean, I didn't pick this book up from the library expecting to relate it to Daily Dose stuff. I picked it up for myself because I am trying to unpack why I am my biggest impediment, why I am the thing that is holding me back, that has always held me back, and that has ensured that I live a much, much smaller life than I want to live, or than I actually think I am supposed to be living. So I picked it up because I'm a regular, middle-aged, highly educated, middle-class, run-of-the-mill woman. And I'm struggling with these things. I looked at those 8 words: sadness, shame, helplessness, anger, embarrassment, disappointment, frustration, vulnerability. I mean, ask me 15 different random times throughout the day if I'm feeling any of those, and the answer is probably going to be yes. Not all of them necessarily, but we all live in a place of one or more of those feelings coming across our radar, and they're hard to deal with. It's much more comfortable to run from them than to address them. And her point, and I'm not very far through the book, so we'll see what steps she gives to really, try to get past them. But her point is, stay with them. Don't run away from them. You can't solve anything running away from them. You have to stay with them. You have to lean into them. And I think I read this and didn't read it out loud to you, but she says those emotions last about 90 seconds if you are willing to just sit with them. So think of the last time you went somewhere and felt embarrassed or vulnerable. You said something stupid, you tripped, whatever. Did that feeling stay with you for 55 hours? Probably not. You might have some lingering recounts of it that kind of re-inspire it, but probably the initial feeling lasted, according to her, about 90 seconds. Well, 90 seconds is kind of nothing in the big picture. Can you just hang with it for 90 seconds as opposed to retreating, grabbing an alcoholic drink, starting to move into that place of, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? Everybody knows how stupid you are now. That terrible, terrible spot of negative self-talk, all those things. 90 seconds. Can you just breathe, through 90 seconds and live with that discomfort, that's kind of an interesting challenge.
But if you're struggling with, let's just stick with alcohol because that's what I know more. You go through all of these trying to decide. There is a point in the disease of addiction where all these goes through your head, and the easiest thing to do is you just have another drink because that sort of suppresses what you're thinking in the first place. It dulls your mind. But if you want to struggle and have a choice about whether or not you're going to drink, you're going to go through all of these. And one of the things you can do is when you get to sadness, you say, all right, why am I sad? You know,
maybe you're sad because everyone around you is having fun and managing
because
it, and
you're
can't.
sad because deep down you know you're fighting something. You know, why do you feel shame? Because part of you might think, you know, isn't this the easy way out? But it's so easy, and I feel better. Why? You know, does that make you helpless? Yes, it does. Obviously, that even might make you feel angry. But if you drink enough alcohol, the anger and the shame and the sadness actually goes away because your pleasure center has been stimulated. You get this endorphin rush, and you kind of feel better. Temporarily. So the disappointment goes away. The frustration, and the vulnerability, I wouldn't say they go away. They're hidden.
Yeah. It's like you throw a blanket over them. The
easiest thing in the world is to go feel all of these very quickly and think, oh, no, and reach for what you know will work short time.
Alcohol, food, shopping, pornography,
gambling,
gossiping, social media scrolling. Yeah. I mean, fill in the blank. It is not an addiction thing. So this isn't a book for addicts.
Her point is you have one choice, you have 8 feelings, you have 90 seconds. If you can address each one and just say why, and then think about it, it's going to help. I went through all of these, and every time this, you know, my therapist and my counselor say, why are you feeling? What are you feeling? I'm sad. Why? And then when they keep saying, well,
Maz make them sound pleasant?
Because I'm shameful. Why? I think, this is why. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But if you address them and learn to address them in your head, you can take a second, and it does actually help.
Yeah, and it's true for all of us. I want to meet the person who says, I've never felt those 8 things. You know what? I'm sorry. That person was in the White House 2.5 years ago. We don't need to meet those people. Those people are dangerous. People who don't feel these negative emotions have other far more serious problems. I say from my very, very learned position of having once played a therapist on TV. But I mean, let's be serious.
You are a method actor, though, so you have to get in on the part.
It's true. Who do you know who hasn't felt these moments, these experiences, these emotions from time to time? And it's as we say so often, it's really not about how you fall. It's about how you get up. How are you saying?
Exactly.
I mean, I hear you sometimes. I can hear the negative emotions when we talk about some really hard part of when Maz was drinking. I don't know how many times a week I'll make a casual reference to, oh, you know, you've seen that movie, but you were drinking, so you don't remember it. And I hear you apologize to me for that time in a shameful, embarrassed, vulnerable place. So it's not that you don't go back to those, but you say it, you feel it, you take the breath through it, and then you move on. And that's what we all have to do. It's what we all get to do if we choose to be present and moving forward. Present and forward, not past and stuck or past and backwards, neither of which are the point of being alive.
Our guest last Thursday, her 2 books.
Jean McCarthy. Thank you, Jean.
She brought something up about this, and one of the chapters says, embrace, you know, your idols or your famous people. Find people in the limelight who have dealt with addiction, and what would they say? Or listen to their works. You know, listen to a song lyric, read a poem, read a book by an author who struggled with addiction. Watch a movie about some struggle. So there's a line from a few films. I'm going to paraphrase it for quite a few things of this. But if someone said to me, well, you know, you're doing great, why don't you feel any of this? I do still.
Yeah.
Trouble is, I know how to deal with it.
That's not the trouble. The good thing
The good
is,
thing is, so, if anyone hasn't felt any of this, here's my advice. If you tell me that you met someone or someone said to you, oh, don't be silly, brush it aside. Anyone who hasn't felt these at any point in their life is either one of three things: a liar, an idiot, or actually dead.
Susan David. Yes. Yes,
you
yes.
have the goals and expectations of a dead person if you've never felt any of this.
I'll put the link to that conversation from a TED Talk.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Everyone has felt these.
Everyone has felt them.
And there's nothing wrong with them. They're all completely normal. They're actually what help you strive to move forward and have a better life.
Yeah. Mother says it also might be helpful for someone to not reference the troubled time, as in the movie Not Remembered. Oh yeah, maybe. But I actually think in the case of Daily Dose, we're often trying to mine things to talk about. And in the case of our marriage, I don't bring it up to force the apology.
No, absolutely not. You never have.
I bring it up because I think it's powerful for us both to remember where we were and where we are. So
there can be some gallows humor in this. I'm going to give you an example, and don't say for heaven's sakes, Dr. May.
I know it's time to wrap up.
So I don't remember watching the film Arrival.
Okay. Yep.
So I rented it from the library and watched it, and Dana said to me, we saw this, but and I was like, yeah. And then she actually said something like, you might regret this. I went downstairs and watched this incredibly boring movie and came back upstairs and goes, well, that was scientific match arranging. And she went, yeah, bad, isn't it? I didn't remember that movie, but almost sometimes you might want to think, yeah, maybe if someone says you don't remember it, it could be a blessing. Bit of a gallows humor there. The look on your face means that you don't get that bit of humor.
I get it. I just, whatever. So I'll keep reading the book if there are other things to talk about.
But do remember these points, and remember, everyone does it, and there's nothing wrong with them. And it's just taking a breath and asking yourself why. It's going to help.
From a place of no judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment, because judgment never
don't start hurting yourself. Hating yourself.
Absolutely.
Just take a breath, think, all right, why? And then just deal with it.
Yeah.
Move on.
Have a great day. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye.